The Giants are a proud franchise, but they've missed the playoffs in 9 of the last 10 seasons. Yesterday, they parted ways with Joe Judge. And I wondered about this yesterday, that he survived Black Monday. Well, this is the thing that happened, I think. The Giants started to put out feelers of who would like to be the general manager. Well, if you're a general manager going into that city with that fan base and you already have your coach picked for you, no thanks. And I think what the Giants had to take a second look at is we got to make this job attractive. And if we're going to make it attractive, then we have to let a GM pick his own coach. Joe Judge, to me, wasn't ready for this moment. This is another one of those Belichick coaching trees, and it doesn't work out. And part of this job, this is why it's so difficult when you're trying to bring in somebody. How do you handle the media? It's one of those things where, hey, football-wise, I'm okay. He's a positions coach. He's a special teams coach. He's not dealing with the media. And then we saw how he dealt with the media. He was a disaster. And then he gave that 11-minute rant the other day, and I went, no, stop. He's watched too many damn movies. This is how a football coach is supposed to act. He might be a successful coach one day, but you got to be able to be, you're representing the organization. You got to go in there and be chill. You can be Dan Campbell, but that's how Dan Campbell played. Like, nobody knows Joe Judge. Hey, he was there with Belichick. Great. I mean, this is like if anybody came in contact with Sean McVay, you hired them. Anybody who's worked with Bill Belichick, you hire them. Well, they're good with Belichick, but they haven't been good normally on their own. And Joe Judge, to me, wasn't ready for that market. You got to be ready to go, handle the media, not freak out, not act like you're coaching Pop Warner. Hey, this is old school. Old school not working. Didn't work. And I thought that the Giants probably brought in some of these candidates, from what I'm told, and some of the candidates said, look, we would want to pick our own head coach. Why would I want to come in and all of a sudden go, all right, I guess I got to take this guy, while I also have to find a running back, maybe a quarterback. I got a total rebuild here. Unless you go, hey, Joe Judge, I love what I saw. He went 10-23 in his 2 years. But this could be an attractive opening for the job because now you're hiring a new GM. It's a major market. They got multiple first-round picks. The roster isn't good. You have a question mark at quarterback, question mark at running back. I know you went out, you brought in some wide receivers, but you got a clean slate here, and ownership is going to have to be patient. But the Giants not making the playoffs, it's hard to not make the playoffs in 9 of the last 10 years. It truly is. But the Giants, maybe they make a wise decision here. Maybe they get a sharp GM, because it used to be the Giants didn't make mistakes. They hired the right guy, but they have been on a really bad roll. And it's not one of those where they go, yep, they missed on that one. This is habit forming. They've made some really, really bad mistakes. And Dave Gettleman, wasn't sold on him as a GM. Now they ask him to retire, and now you bring in a new GM. Man, they miss Eli Manning, I'm going to guess. But, yeah, you start to look at this organization. I mean, there are a couple organizations, the Steelers, Giants, Packers, like the old school, that they got it right. I mean, look at what the Steelers do. They hire a coach, and they let him coach. They do a good job in drafting. Now, there's certain organizations that they just do it right, and the Giants used to be one of those organizations. But Joe Judge is out, and this was a day after everybody else got fired. And I don't know if they were weighing in, gauging the reaction. Now, you can't. The Giants organization could not be surprised at the reaction that you didn't fire Joe Judge. You can't go, oh, my God, they're surprised we didn't fire him. If that's the case, then you deserve to be a laughingstock right now. Certain organizations, they make mistakes, but they don't have good ownership or front office. The Giants shouldn't be making these kind of mistakes. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. People thought I was crazy. I said, I'd rather have the Jets' future than the Giants. And then you go, yeah, probably so. I feel a little better about that. Not a lot, but a little better. It's like the Giants feel like the Jets, the old Jets. And that's part of the problem here. You don't want to be compared to the Jets, but I feel like the Jets have a little bit more of the future is not brighter. It's just not as dim. Because right now, the Giants and that opening, we'll talk to Albert Breer, the Monday morning quarterback. How attractive is this job? And really, it comes down to this: ownership and who's my quarterback. Like, do I have cap room? What's my draft capital? But I need to know who my quarterback is. First and foremost, that's what I would want to know. Now, you also have to factor in the market, the ownership. Then you throw in everything else of how long would it take for the rebuild? How much patience? We're only giving coaches 2 years now. Some of the great coaches in history would not have been some of the great coaches in history if we only gave them 2 years. Mike Krzyzewski would not be the greatest college basketball coach of all time. John Wooden wouldn't be the greatest or one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like, you got to have patience if you believe that person's the right person. I just want to know, when did the Giants organization go, now we have to make a change? Like, was it the 3rd and 9 inside your 10-yard line where you lined up in a victory drill? Was it maybe the 11-minute rant he had in a press conference? Maybe it was just winning 10. I mean, they were horrible. In the second half of the season, I think they averaged less than 10 points per game. And that used to be, well, it probably still is, the toughest ticket in New York. But I'm watching that game, this game this past weekend, and there was nobody there. I don't know what their future is with Saquon Barkley. I would not give him another contract. Daniel Jones, have I seen enough? I've seen enough both ways. That's part of the problem. I can see that there's potential there, but I can also see, man, can he be nondescript? He can be pedestrian. I'm not going to pay him. And it's the haves and the have-nots. The haves are getting a whole lot of money. The have-nots, we got to let you go. It's the Mitchell Trubisky, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston. That's what it's come down to now with these quarterbacks. Because these agents, who I'm sure are brighter than me, never thought about going, how about we just do a deal for $30 million a year? We don't have to go for 45. We want to help the team. And you could probably secure a long-term contract that way. Nope. Next guy up, $45 million. See ya. Maybe something in between might work for some of these quarterbacks. Like Baker Mayfield. He could use one of these. Daniel Jones could use one of these if he's willing to sign it. But I would not be paying an inordinate amount of money for either of those quarterbacks. A lot of these quarterbacks.